Whoa! My name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at the boys' Giddy Up, not only their dance practice, but their music video to hopefully provide more context outside of the choreography and the intention of it. So I have recently started my marathon with the boys, but I have been watching them on the road to Kingdom Journey and then eventually Kingdom Legendary War. So it's really cool to see them in the show context as well as in their own discography. So I can't wait. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Wow, the airtime was really impressive there. They have so much airtime in their jumps in this. They are young and free, man. Maybe not free, but young for sure. Woo! That was good. Q. So that's how you say the letter Q. Q. In Korean, Kyo-kin-yu. Oh, I like that. Also impressive that they're dancing in combat boots and skinny jeans. Love me a good head ISO, goes a long way. Nice, very clean. Wow. Oh, love it with the heels and the slide in. That was nice. Nice. Interesting choice to travel it up that way. Fun. Woo. Whoa, I like that. Fun. Love that. Really fun from them. That was enjoyable. Let's go ahead and check out the music video. Oh, they're in the pinball machine. But also it looks like they're players of foosball, right? So it gives that arcade sense. fun. I love it when I understand concepts much faster than like if I just didn't even register it. Fun. I could be completely wrong, but based off of context, it feels like foosball players that they are. Boys, these are fun jerseys too. If I was a fan, I would want one of those. Especially that one, the crew neck one. Except that, yeah, that one on the right looks good. And the left. Ah, they got the schoolboy vibe, but it looks like they're all in subtly different ones. So a good chance they're from different schools. Or they graduated from different schools. That's fun. Because it's not in any particular order either. Very fun. Stage 2. Very, very fun. Very playful colors, playful textiles. Nice, that was a cool effect. Jacob. Is that who is there in the yellow? Because I said his name. Clean. You would be surprised at how tricky it is to get like this giddy up kind of groove in check together. This would be a fun Dave & Buster's commercial if they wanted to allocate for this. Yeah! Pop, pop, pop. Is that an earring? What kind of earring is that? It looks like tape. Who knows? That was fun though. Fun. Very fun. Yeah, I like that a lot. Definitely playful, full of positive energy, which is definitely, I think, the exact thing they're going for with the arcade concepts. I liked it, so let's go ahead and go back to the dance practice. Okay, so from the top here, I like how they play the energy. Boom, he comes up. Boom, they all get activated. Notice that some of them are leaning over to the side. Now, please keep in mind, for me, I am treating them more along the lines of how I would talk about 17, where synchronicity is one of the forefronts of what captivates from their work and their concepts and their competency of craft, right? Because with some groups, they cater more towards individuality and showcasing the individual styles of the members. In this case, I feel like they have that nice crispness and implicitness of how they can communicate physically with each other. So it allows for us to appreciate a lot of the synchronization, timing, stability, mobility, a lot of those things in this way. So that's, keep that in mind whenever I do talk about very particular like specifics. I'm using that context. It's not like I'm looking at NCT where I know they're more individualized and it just depends on the choreographer. Here, I'm always going to operate that they're known for synchronicity. So that's what we're going to touch on. So notice that my guy right here, he's putting a very different particular type of energy in his head, but he's over-leaning a little too far to the right. But for the most part, they did a good job. I am catching it right in the middle, so I only found 2 discrepancies out of like all 12 is very impressive. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 11 here. So is there 11 members? I only see 11. Yeah, So yeah, I'll say 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 members. I swear there were 12. I could be completely just fibbing it, so we'll find out anyway. But yeah, so I also like the fact that they have bibs with their names on them. Am I gonna remember them? No, I won't. But I know my goal is to know at least half by the end, so we'll see. I have at least Hyunjae, Haknyeon, Q, Eric, Kevin, Jacob. Okay, so we have a Jacob and an Eric, a Q. Hyunjae, Haknyeon. I'll find out. There'll be more. Anyway, but I like how they pulse it there with the hand. Drop it down. New feature. Juyeon has entered the chat. Love it. So they all slowly come back up. I love how they slowly come up and the flip of the hair. That fringe really shows us, and everybody flipped it to not the same degree, but enough to where it allowed for the fullness of the hair fringe to take flight, which I like. I like how they take it, boom, dropping it down. One of them, his hand got caught on the bib. I could very rarely tell that, though. The only reason why I caught it is because I have it paused. But now I like how he peels his hands out, allowing a moment for him. Then they take it, boom, nice little bleed. Notice some of them are really catering over to the side. So it's really, I can tell that they are very particular about how they're cleaning their choreo. And I really like that. It looks great. I like that. Da-da-da-da, boom. And I love the little Digga energy here. It looks good. Then da-da-da-da, and then notice we have every other. Notice my guy, I think it's Q in the center. Everyone's going up. He's going more forward. I don't know if it's because of the room or because if he's in the middle. Both is fine. But I like how we have all of them, making and being very clear on what direction they're going. And then we have everybody else with their arms up. And I just realized we have somebody named Q and then New. How do they not get them confused? That all rhymes. Love it. But I like the little groove there, down, down. And notice the guys who were staying low, their head is what directed the flow. And everybody who's low had to move, as well as those that are up, had to move the same direction in order for it to feel cohesive. And it does. So I really like that. So having everybody here, I like how he sets up the formation to center. We have our moment right there, which is super nice. I do like this. It kind of looks like a little mini not iced coffee, but like a little coffee bottle. It's fun. That was also fun. That wow looks great as they go from those two columns out into a nice V, and everybody's really intentional about what those hands are. Looks great. I like that with a little bit of energy traveling down. That looks great as well. Turn it up. Love how they drop it there. Yeah, always a fan of that as well. And they drop it through just the quickness of the movement is very impressive. Uses of the core to really get there. And we slide that foot out and we rotate it around. Then that right there where they have to hop on the feet and then they have to switch it to like a crouched position. Very impressive, very much like that. Love that with the throw. Looks great. Then I like that dee. That also looks very nice. Really great way to showcase their features once again, like they always do. Yeah, and then having your dancers, that looks great too. Nice little throw, they go off to the side. New feature, Eric. This was fun with the ponies, and then having the foot complemented in the direction is always great. And then everybody's catering to the same amount of energy, which really helps be able to keep the pulse of the happy forward, right? Because whenever somebody's happy, a lot of times you see them be like more jittery, a little bit more energy output, right? So here it is important that they carry that facially and physically. So that's why this push of energy is really helping carry the concepts, because if they were just more like subtle, it would feel more suave, right? And it wouldn't feel playful, because a lot of times playful, you have that like dopamine rush, it's just really fun to see. So I think it's really, once again, great way to showcase their features. He threw, they all did a little slide. Then we have our guys over here. I do like the attentiveness of our guys over on the side. I like having it here, din, 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 din. That was really nice and smooth, seeing that there. And then everybody walking, they're facing the back, getting in their position. What is it? Haknyeon. Good. Now this little part that we're about to see is really fun, because when you look at this group right here, they have one of the best little ripples I think I've seen in a hot minute. It is crispy clean. It's you can tell that they drilled that. Now we have this like a bit of a frame that's happening with I think it's forearms, right? And then they hit it, and they're once again pulse. You have to make sure they don't hit their neighbor. Great way to showcase a new feature. He opens it so it's like swung doors. So I like that. And then they frame each other, and it's very complimentary. And then you still have your guys that are angled to the back, but showcasing different levels. The reason why you get it is because you have somebody that's completely kneeled, and then you have somebody that's significantly bent of the knees, and then these two guys are a little bit taller. You could tell he didn't squat as far as he possibly could have needed to, but it's still, you get the visual mighty fine, and it looks great. So from here, you have... I like that, dee 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 dee, and then as they drop the hands, you have that accent over on the side. Look great once again. I like it. They pick it up, and then they slide the energy down. He runs through once again like it's a secondary, and it does give off, I guess, like the pinball effect is what I would go off of, because that's what they were dancing on, so that's what is safe to assume there. Now this part was really fun. This is the part I was talking about. So you have your guys kind of march over here, and then he takes it. Then he goes, he hits and accents, and they have to be mindful of how the body responds as they grab those hands and place them there. I like the subtlety of our dancers back here. Spacing's a little bit off. I would have him move over just a smidge, just based on what I'm seeing in context. But I love how he accents it here, and he brings that arm and allows it to have a little wave action, so you can still see them all finish out that move. And then right here, they go right into a really nice way to complement with the feature. The feature stays up, they stay dropped down. Great usage of core once again. Then they place it down. Notice some of them are teetering a little too far over, but that's just what you get sometimes when you do really, really quick movement like that, where it goes you know. It's just that's way trickier to get on the same page on. But they did a great job in that particular ripple. That looked divine. Love it. Then he takes it. They go, let's giddy up. And I like, honestly, I wonder if they bruise their thigh by hitting it to that degree. Giddy, giddy up. I love having, just having that energy there. I know they probably do a light tap, but that part is pretty tricky, because if you throw, some people can over isolate the elbow. Some people utilize it from the shoulder. Some use their back. Some use their chest. You know, it just kind of depends on the person. And some people just overshoot or undershoot, or they overbend the arm. So that was really nice that that's the type of groove that they got really clean, because I'm not used to seeing that particular syncopated rodeo groove that clean. So I'm very impressed by that. So whoever is, I guess, if there's a member that's in charge of cleaning, they're doing a fantastic job. I'm very impressed. Like, boom. And I love, once again, the fingers. God, I'm such a fan of that. Drop it to the side. And notice the intentionality with the head looks great here. Yeah. All right. And I think it's this run. And it's a beautiful add-on, and notice that they, as they're doing the add-on, they're switching to a different spot. Great transition choice. Yeah, come on. And then we go giddy, giddy up, and then we bleed that energy, run through. Looks great. Yep. Looks great here too. Yep. Looks great. Love it. Yep, yeah. Great energy. Nice and high. And notice the first time up, they shoot that leg out, and then they keep it to the inside. I think that's what they did, right? Hold on. Yeah. I like that. So it goes up and then down, and then you have like this kind of pop off, like ping pong vibe. And I really like it. It's very playful, and the formations have that nice bounce to it, which really helps carry the performance a lot more. I love it. Like taking that, and then everybody renajams to the back. Notice that everybody kind of shoots down with the hinge of the hips, and you have one of our guys, Julian, stay up. That's great. Then a nice little dee, that's fun. And the new feature, and then we all go into this little, I remember seeing it a move with Koharu and Taemin, so it's nice to see that here. It's just fun. He goes, whoo, I like how he goes up and everybody branches out, and then we transition. Our feature, very clear to see why. He's the one that becomes the most still, but he has an accent of the upper body with the hand when nobody else does. Love that. Once again, then he switches, then it goes to a nice flexed hand right back in with everybody else, and then we take it, nice swing. Notice we're using that shoulder. Everybody takes those arms up. We don't have anybody do anything crazy with it. I love it. And then it's a nice, not really canon because they're, well, spontaneous canon possibly because they're doing something slightly different, but it is complementary, like a complementary canon to what's going on in the front line. Looks great. And they go, oh, now they all join in and we slide to a new spot. And what's really impressive too is sometimes you'd be surprised that whenever you do have something marked center, it can be pretty tricky to not hit it or to modify your movement, to not modify your movement because of the amount of space that you realistically have. Because you notice they have a wide space, but it's not very deep is what it's coming across here. So I'm very impressed with the fact that we haven't had any risk taking of knocking this bad boy out, because I would have bolted it with some footwork on accident because I'm not aware sometimes. But it also shows that they all have to be on the same page in modifying their movement collectively, which is also very impressive because here it does not look like, just like in their first one, it's not shot at a location, it's not shot at the studio, right? And real talk, whenever you do dance practices in the studio, it's going to look more comfortable on your performers, because my assumption, I'm just going off of assumption because this is what we do at a studio. When my dancers perform or do a run through on camera in this dance studio versus in a random place, they're going to do it a little bit better because they're in a familiar environment. When you're not in a familiar environment, like in this case, you have to recalibrate. And it also is going to show you how well do you know your choreography. That's why a lot of times it is pretty good to have your dancers try going to competitions, if not for the adjudications, which for me, I'm kind of indifferent to scores and adjudications and placements and those types of things, especially for my kids because they're not professional dancers and they're there to grow and learn. So it's nice to receive encouragement, but their value is not depicted on a prize. And I don't push that on them either. But I do appreciate the type of adrenaline and navigating through adrenaline when you're on stage, as well as presenting the gospel to people in the audience is also great. But it all goes to learning how to calibrate your formations and your movements on a stage where you don't have an opportunity to practice on that stage. So all that to say, I think that's really fun to be able to just see how clean it is, despite it being in a potentially foreign environment. I haven't technically seen them in a dance practice space yet, so I don't know what their go-to space is, but they're doing a great job, all that to say. Moving on from here, I like this boom, I like that click. He enters through. Once again, we have that fingerprint, of the swing doors, but notice it's one hand instead of having it like this and they swing with two. Now it's with one, so it's slightly different, but it still showcases the same message of showcasing your feature. From here, looks great. I like it goes into a very clean add-on. I like the bringing it through with the accent, and then you have your middle group, Jacob here. I like the digging, dun dun. And notice they're not like really digging it. It's more place. It kind of feels very like Charleston influence a little bit, maybe Michael influence. More refined, but I do like it. Looks great. That was clean. Did it. Really clean. Then it goes over to group 3 and they're still going. That's what I like. So you have a new feature presented because you have these two that are operating. So it's nice that they are still moving while they're moving because it's complementary, even though they stopped when they started. So I think there's beauty in that, and it showcases another degree of complexity in the second verse. It looks great. Yep, I like that down, 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 and they take their arms up. Very similar to what they did in verse 1, but it's just with the two. Here we go. Now we're here to this, we've seen this before. I think it's somebody different in the front now though. Once again, we're going into this feet. And what's nice too is because they end up doing this twice, despite where they are in the formation, these types of lines are going to be a little bit cleaner than things that they only do once, because the more you're exposed to the same formation or the same dynamic, like they did that figure 8 little peel off, those are going to naturally look more natural because you're more exposed to it in your choreography, so you're naturally going to drill it more than the other movements. So there is some beauty of doing the same course every course and doing the same visuals or same dynamics that are fingerprinted throughout your discography, because your body and your group are going to implicitly be on the same page faster that way on those moves versus all complete moves and all complete new styles. But I think there's beauty in both. It just kind of depends on your concept. I like that, the stiffness there, and then they go boom. Notice the fullness of that. They're really hinging those hips forward to allow that back to go back. It looks great. And a little body roll there. Boom, boom. Really love that choice. Dig. Ta, da, 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 ta. Really great. Yep. Da, da. This part was cool when they go, Diddy, they syncopate it with the heels. And then they hop it together, so it wasn't a tip-tap-toe or anything. Did it, and they sucked it in. I loved that. It was very, I mean, it's not really the speed of it or the syncopation of it. It's not like simple, but it is simpler than doing something really fast. But having that and then hopping it in was really clever and a really nice kind of interruption in the groove that they were doing. It was fun. Then that is da da da, and then all of them are here, right here, nice and clean with the lines. Notice that there was probably a conversation that was taking place, because a lot of times you'd be surprised at how many people are not on the same page. Because a lot of times we just tell people, put your hands together. Sometimes people do this, some people do this, some people do this, some people do this. It just kind of depends on who you're talking to and how flexible their shoulders are or what they're exposed to technique-wise. So this is they probably told themselves, okay, first they established, are we going to have fists or are we going to have hands? Because that determines where you want it to be. Because if you have your hands flat, it's going to be different than if you have it in fists. It's going to be a little bit closer together. So you notice that some of our guys are in the fists and then some of them have their hands flat. And that's why the range of it in cadence to your shoulders is going to be slightly different. Now, in this case, it's so subtle, it's not going to make a big difference. But I do see the common denominator being those fists. So I would assume that some of our guys who are currently having flat hands, like my guy right here, and he kind of has his kind of bled over his hand. Those little details are what separate that robotic squeaky clean and we're clean but I'm human. And it, once again, depends on what kind of vibe you're going for. And I'm fine with either. It looks great. Switching to D, 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 D. I like the placement of the hand, looks great. And then he takes it, bah, bah. I love that. They take it and they put the energy to the inside. A great way to showcase the feature, but also project and elevate the energy that the feature could not provide by themselves. That was a really, really great choice. I think verse 2 is one of the best like choreographic sections I've seen. I mean, I've only seen one other track of their discography, but that's probably gonna be one of my favorite like progressions because it's so tailored to making and furthering, not the concept, but furthering the environment of the emotion. And I love it. Looks great. And once again, on that, the height, Q was said, wee, all the way up and back down. And then having this circle of energy looks great. And I like how everybody, everybody has their right arm used. So that's good. And he also is using his right arm, but notice that you have half of them turning facing the back, but they made it truly circular. And I like the pulsing, very similar to what they did in the first pre-chorus, but it was a different formation, right? Then having it, and they're hitting it, boom, and then they bleed it. Instead of making it rotate around, they bled it up from the front to the back. Normally in a circle, you normally see, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just really familiar with seeing people travel the energy around like that. But what they did is they started with Q, and then they branched it up like an add-on, like we had more of a like a linear formation structure. So that was very creative on the movement director or the choreographer or whoever cleaned it. That was great. That's super cool because that's harder to clean. Honestly, I like that. Once again, we have our groups of 3, broom and broom, and then we have a group of 5. And shout out to the fact this is a one take. One takes do not technically mean they only had one try. It's not a one try, one take. At least I don't know how many takes they did, but a one take is it goes from the start all the way to the end with no cuts. I love those so much, and it also makes it feel more impressive, right? Even if it's simple, staying clean with the group for as long as they are, which is 3 minutes and 35 seconds, is very impressive. I mean, when you think about competitive choreography events, a lot of them hang out at about the 2-minute range, 2.5 minute, unless you're dealing mega crew, but that's very different depending on, what competition circuit you're on, and they have a lot of different prep work involved. But all that to say, it is still very impressive with the fact that one takes, we can never dog a one take unless they're just like rolling on the floor. But if that works, it works. I always pay my respects to one takes because they didn't have to. They could have cut it and made it its most ideal in all the sections. But they chose to go with the one take, and this is what we get, and we get to appreciate it. Love it. But I do appreciate, secondarily, the fact, like I said, we have our 3 groups present, but notice that our outside groups are tailoring to the outside, so it's easier to clock this mini group. Because if you see that if everybody was linear just like them, it'd be a little bit trickier to appreciate the smallness of this group, right? But as they peel it out, looks great. Down, and they take those arms up. Some people are looking up, some are looking to the front. That's totally fine. Love building the energy. I love that. Boom, boom. Really great seeing that there. And they take it bum, bum, bum. Really nice. Then the points having the every other, not every other. You have your 2 groups. So you have your feature here, but you have half the group go up, half the group go down, but your center point does both. Looks great. Yep. Very nice seeing that. punch, ding, drop it down, make some noise, and then bah, really love this energy here. The giddy up, boom. I love the breath there, and they drop it down. Looks great. Da 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 da. Looks super fun. And once again with that 3 da da da. Looks super cool. Pulling it up. And then we have a new feature over on the corner, very clear to see. Why? Because they're the only one up. So those little things, I mean, hopefully, I mean, there's been some people that have been on my journeys with me on marathons, and some of them send me messages and they're like, Jessica, I can now no longer not pay attention to the hand placements of this group. You're welcome. So if there's anything that you learned from the boys so far, is the beauty of their fingers, as well as how they're choosing to feature their performers. Or just, I do notice that just as an overview for quite a few groups, I would say 17 is a great example too, how groups choose to feature their features or their soloists in that moment is always something to appreciate, especially as when I'm in the phase of I don't know any of their names. The only reason why is because they have bibs on, right? Or I wouldn't have a freaking clue the first name to start with. Eric and Jacob and Q. So far, the 3 that are registered in my brain, but I could not pick them out in a lineup to save my life at this point. But being very clear to know exactly who my feature is, and I really don't know who is who, really screams volumes to the choreographer and the intention of this track and with the group, because it could be so easy to be swallowed up by the masses of the boys, right? Boys intended and unintended pun. So kudos to that, snaps for that. I love that. So I hope they continue that moving in all their discography. I love that. Once again with the breath, they come in and they transition to a new spot. I like that once again. Notice with one of my guys, he's not really digging as far in, but it could be because his other counterpart was also moving up as well. So now we have a slightly different vary formation in comparison to just AV. And I like that. Subtle but effective. Yeah, that syncopation of traveling from the knees up into the shoulders was really nice. Great energy. We have a little basket runs happening in the back, but it's so subtle, it's not even something to really take a note of. I like that. And punch. Really like that choice as well. I almost knocked out my computer screen by punching, so I'm sorry. I have to tap it. Okay, so from here, really nice up. I love how they're taking the chest. I mean, some of them, of course, I wish they really pushed that chest a little bit more, but I love, honestly, I'm really a fan of how fully invested we are in this particular position. It's very impressive. All of the foot, some people are not quite have hit that level at the ground yet, but I really do like this. It looks great. Bring it up, da 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 da, and I love that pop up right there. That looks great too. Yeah, ding ding ding. That looks super cool. The da 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 da, nice little shimmies. We have half of them down, half of them up, but it was syncopated. Da 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 da. And then we have everybody once again in that little move head ISO vibe, but it was a little bit shorter this time. Then we drug it in 3 groups, and then he swings it. They all have that nice little speed change going down. Yeah, da-da. Once again, hold that hand up. Very clear to see who it is. Giddy up. Then he goes up. Everybody pops up. And then they all move. Yes, Sonu has entered the chat. I love that. Ta ta ta. Now, normally I would be like, why are we choosing to do like hip thrusts in this? But it actually helps carry the fullness of what's going on with the arm because of the opposition of the hips and the arm. And they're using their back there. Now, you have guys that are going up, bump, bump, bump. Notice their up is not as strong as their down. And it's because you don't see as much energy that's helping counteract what's going on up here to showcase the range difference, right? But that's nothing of an issue. It looks totally fine. But I like that pull. I like that da, 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 da. A little boom. I love that pull. It looks great. Yeah, I love that boom, doo, 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 doo. I really like this choice as well. Switching it through and then syncopating, stuff like that can be really tricky really fast on whenever they choose to take the arms and do something with it, right? But I like that shh, and they branch the energy out to the side, and I love this right here. Yeah, da 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 da. Pulling it through, love it. Great, easy way to transition out to a new spot. Looks great. Yep, D, and they pull out the energy over to the sides. Looks great. Comes up, boom. Love that too. That was super fun with the syncopation. So enjoyable. They use the chest and they use resistance in the arms to really make that energy happen without over collapsing. They have the little phone ring. Yep, and they will giddy up. Different felt pretty anticlimactic in the tension, but I like it. It was a fun choice. You throw it, ba, love that as well. Yep, love that, ba-ta, love the accent there. Yeah, ba-na. That looks cool too. Yeah, come on, love the hops here, really great. Great hinge from everyone, going the correct rotation with each other, and I love this right here. Great way to see our feature once again. For me, I do remember when I was speaking about ATs in their early era work, they weren't known for their synchronicity. I would say they're much more competent in that field nowadays. I think part of it just comes from just working with the right group of people, but also just in the implicit understanding of how they work as a group live and in the dance practice space. But that was a common thing I would talk about in their earlier choreographies, of how difficult it was to see what was going on in the center of the circle, regardless if it was one person or three, because of how the rest of the circle was made and the dynamics that were going on within it. Here, it was very clear to see who was in center, not because of height, but because of this hinge and the commitment from everybody and the cleanliness of it for us to be able to appreciate that moment in that way. So I love it though. I like those points there, little pony action happening. They go up the right, round. Nice transition. Of course, walking with purpose, but everybody's on that same tempo. Definitely great to see. Yeah, doon, da 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 doon. Love that. I'm gonna take it here. 3, 4, da 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 da. And notice that everybody is. There's not too much range discrepancy, which I really like with the throw and throw. Looks super cool. Punching and boom, ding ding boom, and I love that as well. Yeah, dee 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 dee. I love where that pull out of that leg looks great. Yeah, dee 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 dee. Once again with the little shimmies, I love seeing it. Do do do, boom boom. I really like that choice as well. Sliding it in, hitting it with the tension, and everybody dropping nice and low. Looks super cool. Giddy, giddy, giddy. Different positions. Notice they're not just staying front for all of that. They're switching positions, creating different angles, as well as creating this opposition with the not little like mini steps, mini ball changes, right? Then they take it up now, and they go. Some people did choose to do the accent of the head. Some I don't think did. So that would be my little note at the end, is everybody commit if you're going to do it. Yeah, because you have 2 people do it. If it was just your guy in the front do it, or in the center, that'd be fine. But you saw my other guy right here do it. And it does sound like everybody's singing at this point. So it would be an all or nothing choice that I would recommend. I like it though. But you could run into the potential of, you know, you have half of your group over here on this side and then half on this side. It could look slightly imbalanced because you have one person here. But at the end of the day though, it's not going to be that big of a difference. So my note still stands though, that if these 2 chose to do it and if everybody did it, it would have I think it would have more of a punctuation at the end. Oh no. But it wouldn't take away from the sound finish choice, right? So even though the punctuation of the track is just the sound dropping out and just having the vocals, they could have still had that nice little no, and that would have been the end, you know. But it was a nice finish. It was great, and I think this is still a wonderful routine on them, and it makes me excited to continue on this marathon. This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more of the boys, I actually have a lot of it already ready to go, but most of it is on Patreon and not on YouTube, because I do full episode reactions of Road to Kingdom and eventually Kingdom Legendary War. So there's gonna be a lot of extra commentary affiliated with the boys that is tailored to the reactions there. But when it comes to the dance practices and things like that, I should have a lot of it on YouTube, but I will always have more of it on Patreon ready for you to take a watch. They've been wonderful to look at even before I even knew who they were and their affiliation to the Kingdom show. So it's going to be really fun for me to see their growth over the years as another group, honestly, that came from a not so well-known entertainment agency like 17 and even, you know, BTS. I've did a huge stint with BTS way before I even became a reactor in this way. So I can kind of put them all in the same boat, and then seeing 17 and BTS's successes, I'm really hoping that for the boys as well. I think what they've brought so far is truly, it is very special and wonderful to take a look at. So I can't wait to look at it more and know more along the way. Once again, my name is Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.